Alright, so today I'm finally taking a proper look at a pair that I've been really excited about. And this is the Hermès Day Sneaker in the Blanc color for men. This is one of the shoes that, at least for me, is interesting for a very specific reason. It's not loud, it's not trying to be overly trendy, and it's not one of those sneakers that immediately jumps out from across the room. The appeal of this one feels much more quiet. It feels more considered. It feels like the kind of shoe that reveals itself the more time you spend with it. And that's actually why I wanted to make this video in a more personal way. Because I don't think that this is the kind of sneaker that makes sense if you only look at it in a quick store photo or judge it by the brand name alone. This feels like the kind of shoe you need to unbox, hold in your hands, look up close, and then actually put on the feet to understand what it's trying to do. So, in this video, I'm going to take you through the whole experience. I'll start with the unboxing, then we'll take a really close look at the detail of the shoe itself, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the feet, and talk about how I personally use it, and personally see it fitting into my wardrobe, and whether it actually feels special enough to justify what it is. So, let's get into it. Alright, so starting with the box itself, let's bring it over here. And as you can see, Hermes packaging always has a certain presence to it. Even before you get to the shoe, the whole experience already feels very intentional. It's simple, but it feels premium in a way that doesn't need to overdo anything. So, let's open it up. First thing that always hits me is that there is a kind of ceremony to it. It's not just the opening of a sneaker box and pulling out a pair of shoes, it feels slower than that. And I actually like that because with something like this, part of what you're paying for is not just the item, but the whole experience around it. So let's take the first shoe out. And let's go ahead and put it out. And yeah, first impression, it's clean, really, really clean. The first thing that stands out to me immediately is just how refined the shape is. Look at that. It doesn't feel bulky, it doesn't feel clumsy, and it doesn't feel like it's chasing that oversized sneaker trend. It looks sleek, it looks controlled, and it looks very deliberate. What I like right away is that even though this is a white sneaker, it doesn't feel generic to me. There's so many white sneakers out there, from affordable ones all the way up to luxury ones, and a lot of them kind of blur together. But this one has a more polished energy to it. It feels sharper, it feels clear in the actual design, not just in the color. And then of course, the detail that draws the eye pretty quickly is the beautiful Kelly buckle you see over here on the side. You can accordingly just put it up, unbuckle it, and accordingly be able to tie your shoelace and just put it back on and buckle it on, lock it. It's beautiful. And I was mentioning that's really the moment where the shoe stops feeling like just another luxury white sneaker and starts feeling very specifically Hermes. What I appreciate is that it's there, but it's not screaming. It's not a giant logo monument. It's not doing too much. It just adds that extra layer of personality and identity without completely taking over the shoe. Now, let's just put this here, and let me take out the second shoe as well. It's beautiful. So this is the left feet for a shoe. As you can see, it's a beautiful pair. I love the contrast that it has, the brightness that it has. It really enhances the value of it. And as I mentioned before, I appreciate that it's there, but it's not screaming. So seeing the pair together, I think that's when it really clicks for me. There's a symmetry to it, and the whole design starts to make a whole lot more sense. As you can see over here. Let me just take this out as well. It has that kind of understated confidence where it looks expensive, but not in a way that feels desperate for attention. Now let's get a bit closer and really look at the shoe. Starting with the leather, what I notice immediately is that the upper has a very smooth, very refined look to it. It gives the shoe this clean surface that works really well with the Blanc color. The white here doesn't come across harsh or overly bright. It feels soft, elegant, and a little more elevated than the kind of flat white you often see on more standard sneakers. I think that matters because on a shoe like this, the entire concept lives or dies on the finish. Since the design is relatively minimal, every little thing becomes more important. The shape matters more, the texture matters more, the stitching matters more, the proportion matters more. Look at the side profile. This is probably one of my favorite angles of the shoe. This is where a sneaker feels the most balanced to me. It's slim, but not too slim. It has structure, but it doesn't feel too stiff. It feels dressier than a lot of casual textures, but casual sneakers, but it still stays wearable. The Kelly buckle, as I mentioned, is obviously a statement detail here, and honestly, I think they got the balance right. It gives the sneaker character, but it feels still tasteful. It doesn't cross over into being flashy. It's one of those details where if you know, you know. And if you don't know, it still just looks good. Moving on to the sole. I like that it stays clean and doesn't try to overcomplicate things. The white rubber sole keeps the whole shoe cohesive. There's no unnecessary contrast, no aggressive sculpting, no attempt to make it futuristic. It just feels classic and neat. And that's really the word I keep coming back with to a sneaker. Neat. Everything about this feels neat. The lines are neat, the finish is neat, the design choices feel neat. It's very edited. And I think that's why I'm drawn to it. Even the lacing setup feels consistent with the rest of the shoe. Nothing feels accidental. Nothing feels like filler. It all feels tightly controlled in a way that makes the sneaker feel mature. And that's actually one of the reasons I like it. And of course, one of the reasons I actually bought it. It doesn't feel like a sneaker that's trying to prove something. It doesn't feel like it's trying to look young or loud or fashion forward for the sake of it. It just feels confident in what it is. For me, that makes it much easier to imagine wearing. I can see this working with cleaner outfits, more neutral tones, black trousers, tailored pants, straight denim, maybe even something more relaxed on top with the shoe grounding the whole outfit in a more polished way. This feels like a wardrobe shoe more than a hype shoe, and I mean that of course as a compliment. Alright, now the part that really matters, because no matter how nice a shoe looks at hand, it needs to make sense on the body. Some shoes look great in close-up shots, and then once they're actually on feet, the proportions feel off or the shoe loses its charm a bit. Now that I've got them on my feet, I think this is where the day sneaker really starts to show what it's about. The first thing I notice is that the silhouette stays very clean on foot. That was something I was hoping for because sometimes in a shoe you can look sleek in hand, but bulk up visually once you're actually wearing it. This doesn't do that, as you can see over here. It still looks refined, still looks slim, and still carries that same quiet elegance it had out of the box. And that's probably my favorite part of seeing it on feet. It doesn't suddenly become louder. It just stays true to itself. From the side, I think the shoe looks especially good. It doesn't suddenly become louder. It stays true to itself. The profile is strong. It has enough presence to feel luxurious, but it doesn't dominate the entire look. It complements the outfit instead of overpowering it. Walking around with them, what I'm paying attention to most is not whether this feels like some ultra cushion sports sneaker, because that's not what I want from a shoe like this. What I care more about is whether it feels structured, secure, and natural enough that I genuinely reach for it. And for me, that's really the test with luxury sneakers. I don't really need them to feel like running shoes. I need them to feel good enough that the design and the wearing experience still make sense together. And visually, on feet, I think this pair really delivers. The Blanc color just works. It makes the whole shoe feel crisp, elevated, and very easy to style. It gives that fresh, put together look that I always want from a white sneaker, but in a more refined way. It's not casual in a lazy way, it feels intentional. The buckle detail also reads very well on foot. Up close, it's obviously one of the defining moments of the sneaker, but when you're wearing it, it becomes part of the overall look rather than a gimmick. That's a big plus for me, because sometimes signature details can feel a little too self-conscious. Here, it feels elegant. If I'm being completely personal about it, this is the kind of shoe I wear when I want my outfit to feel clean and elevated without looking like I made the shoe the centerpiece. It's not attention-seeking, but it definitely adds polish. It's the kind of pair that makes me stand a little differently when I have it on, because the whole outfit makes the whole outfit feel more composed. And honestly, that's probably the best way I can describe the feeling of the sneaker. It makes everything feel more composed. So, after unboxing it, looking at it closely, and then seeing it on feet, my personal takeaway on the Hermès Day Sneaker in Blanc is that this is a very restrained, very polished, very assured shoe. What I like most about it is that it doesn't rely on being loud. It doesn't try to win you over with exaggerated design. It doesn't lean on obvious branding. It's really just about the shape, the finish, the material, and the detail. And if those are the things you care about, I think that this shoe becomes a lot more compelling. For me, this feels less like a statement sneaker and more like a luxury wardrobe piece that happens to be a sneaker. And that's exactly why I like it. It feels thoughtful, it feels elegant, it feels mature, and most importantly, it actually feels distinct in a category where a lot of white sneakers start blending into each other. So yeah, this is one of those pairs that I think makes more sense the longer you spend with it. The more I look at it, the more I understand it. And on feet, it really keeps the same energy. If you like your sneakers clean, refined, and understated, it's a very beautiful way to do that. And just a quick note too, if you're not used to wearing calfskin, it's very normal to feel that it might be a bit stiff or rigid, but the great thing about calfskin, especially with Hermes shoes, is the more you wear it, the more it'll start shaping up to mold with your feet. And that's where it gets much softer, more refined for your feet. So just take that into advisement. So that's my take on the Hermès Day Sneaker in Blanc for Men. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'd be keen to hear your thoughts. Would you like to buy one of these as well? How would you style it? Have you any thoughts of your own as well if you're an owner? We'd love to hear it in the comments. Thank you.